Okay, see you. Sorry. That was my little...
This is yours. Turn that music down for just a second. I'm just going to make an announcement.
Just a reminder for everybody, this one is just for Sam only and is meant to meter slides, yeah.
And I'm going to just stay here.
Okay.
And click from here.
I had no time to print.
Awesome.
Okay, folks, we'll get started in just a minute. We have 2 more tram loads unloading, and we'll get them in here. We have a full house, so you may need to scoot to the middle. So, Connie, we're going to have to make up time. Okay? Is that Sergio? Who else is here to accept the award for with that?
I didn't know that there are 8 people.
They're there. Okay. Let's start. Where's Sam? Sam. Just quick, and to fade it out.
I was a ghost, I was alone. 두어진 길 속에 given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived two lives, tried to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a prattling child, 'cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. 끝없이 on stage, I'm done hiding now. I'm shining like I'm gonna be. We dreaming hard, we came so far now. I believe we're going up, up, up. It's our moment. You know together we're going. Gonna be golden. Up, up, up with our voices. Going to get just so on it. Gonna be golden. Oh, I'm done hiding now. I'm shining like I'm gonna be. Oh, our time, no fears, no lies. That's who we're gonna be. Waited so long.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, all you nonprofit leaders and governance gurus. Welcome to the University of San Diego. We are actually in this event sold out at over 400 reservations. So don't be surprised as this room fills up, and we might need you to scooch in and up and down, and just welcome our guests as they come in, and shun them if they brought any coffee with them into this theater. Just kidding. My name is Laura Dietrich. I'm the executive director of the Nonprofit Institute, which we fondly call NPI. And it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you here to 2 days of really, I think, very important and I think in some places hard work, but also joyful. And then the thing we know the most about nonprofits and all of you is when you get into community together, amazing things happen. So we are hoping that for all of us here today. You are located in the Kroc School of Peace and Justice, the only school dedicated to peacemaking in the country. We, NPI, are housed across the street at the School of Leadership and Education Sciences, where we house the oldest and first original PhD in leadership studies. So you can see that these are the places where nonprofits and the folks like you really belong and hang out, and we're quite proud of both of these schools, their missions, and our whole university. Before we begin, you'll see a lot today. We'll speak about institutions and tomorrow policy and all the ways that organizations impact community. And in that spirit, I would like to acknowledge, first and foremost, that the land that USD sits on is the unceded territory of the Kumeyaay Nation, and we pay respect to the Kumeyaay and their ancestors and their stewardship of this land with our full hearts, okay? And in that moment, I'd like to offer just a little bit of reflection to kind of get us going. Dr. Green and I and our friends talk a lot about leadership is a practice. It's not something that everyone is born great at and anyone can get good at. So for all you yoga people and anyone who practices to get better at anything, we know that reflection is part of leadership work. So I'm just gonna offer some sentiments that draw on some work from a man named Howard Thurman. And I'd just like us to think about this a little bit because I thought that this really reflected what I see in all of you whenever I work with all of you. So he says, do not ask what the world needs. That seems kind of weird because all we're wondering about all the time is what everybody in the community needs. But I'm going to invite you to think about, do not ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And this conference really is designed to help you tap into that feeling of being alive and in the work, which is hard work, but also so that you sort of feel seen. So let's just reflect on that for a second. We're going to come out of this room alive today and ready to spend 2 days of terrific time together. Thank you. So wouldn't be right if I didn't tell some of the friends in the room who don't know us. The Nonprofit Institute, who are we? What do we do? So we believe in these 3 pillars: transform, know, and advocate. You'll see them everywhere. We live into those spaces by working alongside leaders and people in our community, and work together to transform leadership. And in so doing, in that work, we ourselves are transformed. It is not a one-way directional teaching of leadership. In the no category, I think you all understand that we do a lot of research. Many of you have responded to numerous surveys, and I thank you for that. And we produce that knowledge so that we can advocate. And that's what we all really need to be thinking about. Not advocating just for our missions, but advocating for a sector that's under siege, that's really under fire. And how can we talk about our work even more collectively, I think, in that advocate space. You'll see a lot of opportunities to think and reflect and learn about that while we're here together today. Here come the thank yous, and they should not be glossed over. Look at this staff. These guys are amazing. They are so cool, and then there's so many more of them, and they're outside, so they're not going to get our love. But if you see an MPI staff or the word volunteer, just thank them. They are here to make your 2 days with us better. Events are hard. I don't have to tell all you golf tournament and gala people out there. Events are hard, so give them a little love if you get the chance. And I want to talk about our sponsors, and I know we get to these kinds of things in these kinds of spaces, and we say thank you, but I want you to really understand something clearly about our sponsors, the people that work with us at MPI. They are just the same as you. They care. They're not here to sell you stuff. They're here because they care about what you do, and they want you to do it better. They are our people. We do not take our sponsorship relationships lightly. And in that vein, I would like to thank Bernstein, who I know is here, California Bank and Trust also, the Prebys Foundation, and the San Diego Union Tribune, who are our lead level sponsors, as well as the other folks that are on these slides. So I'm going to give you this moment just to take a look and think about how you can, if you know these people, if they sponsor you, if you like our work, please thank them and tell them, gosh, I know you support MPI, and that made for a really great opportunity. I love their research. I love what they produce. Every other event that we do during the year does not have a fee on it. This is the only fundraising event that we do at the Nonprofit Institute. And the funds that go from this support our doctoral students and our research, okay? So I would love for you to just take a moment and acknowledge those folks when you get a chance. Something I know nothing about, the conference app. So you can use it if you have questions. Please see people at the registration desk. But we do encourage you to engage on the app, to talk to one another, to connect, to seek answers, and to give shout outs. And our folks and our audiences are known very well for that kind of engagement. It makes the conference fun. Okay, almost last but not least, before we move on to our day, so we curated this day around a lot of our research, and we brought together speakers that I think have answers to the questions that a lot of folks are asking right now. Our speakers at this event are not paid. They are donating their time in support of MPI and in support of the fact that this is a fundraiser. So you can see we have several tracks that you can choose from. I'm sorry, you won't be able to go to everything. If you're here with friends, the best way to do it is divide and then meet up at lunch and talk about everything you learned, right? And to thank our speakers and to connect with them and learn from them while you're here. Some of the topics are, if I name even one topic, I'm gonna get in trouble because they're so interesting. But I will give a shout out to our research team, because you might not normally show up to a session that talks about research, but they have a whole research trivia game thing planned. You might want to check it out. There's a lot of props. I saw them yesterday. And then just really real-time things like, how do we address AI? How do we address the changing workforce? How do we think about governing differently? All the things. So I think there's just a lot for everyone to dig into there. So just before we get started, I'm unfortunately going to spend a moment of reflection in flashback So we normally do this event in January, as you well know, and we had some space concerns at the university, started the semester a week early, so we couldn't have our January date, but we will be back in January next year, I'm hoping. But last year in January, I was standing on this stage, and the day before, 4 executive orders had been issued. And it was kind of this moment where I'm like, should I say something about these? Like, you know, what do we do, right? And so we did acknowledge that there's this shifting policy landscape. No matter where you sit on the political spectrum, you cannot deny has a real and immediate impact on the work that everyone in this room is doing. I see my friend Vino from Catholic Charities. The day after those executive orders were issued, Vino was closing programs, laying people off, all the things, right? And he'll probably talk about that sometime today, I'm sure. But if you think back to those first few weeks in January and February, and let's not kid ourselves, March, April, and May, where we were just trying to get our feet underneath us, right? And here we are today. And so in that reflection, I'd like you to think about where we are and how you're still here. We're still doing the work, and we're figuring out new ways to do it. And I'm going to share a little bit of data that we have a very long and large annual report. Many of you use it. I want to tell you something about that report. No other regions get reports like that about their nonprofit sector. My colleagues around the country think we're overly ambitious to produce that report every year. But we know that you guys use it in your grant reports. We know so much more about our sector in San Diego than any, I would bet, LA, San Francisco, anywhere around the country, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud of all of you because those are your words that you give us that we reflect back. So what do we know from that time of reflection? Obviously, initially out of the gate, a bunch of issues that fell right into the spotlight, and then more that came tumbling down after that. 52 executive orders, 140 pieces of legislation, 107 state and federal level cases currently being challenging executive orders. So the first time ever, the Nonprofit Council, the National Center for Nonprofits, they took up litigation for the first time ever, suing the federal government and stopping some of these orders and pausing them. So we see a very different protect the sector kind of advocacy going on. Against that backdrop, so why do we feel good? We are the most trusted sector. Yay, ready? Yay, 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 yay. Don't let anyone forget, nonprofits, San Diegans, we pull them quarterly. It doesn't change. San Diegans trust nonprofits more than government and business to do a whole host of things. And with that trust comes great responsibility, and boards are a big part of stewarding that trust. So there's a lot of that built in today, but you want to put a card in your back pocket? Put this in your back pocket. Most trusted, okay? And most trusted to be and reach communities that otherwise wouldn't be reached, okay? Yet, all of you are telling us that there are a lot of federal impacts on San Diego County, the federal cuts especially. But what I kind of want to talk about is this idea that people actually are less likely to seek services. They're not showing up. I don't have to tell those of you that provide direct services. They're not showing up because they're afraid, they're scared. That means a less healthy San Diego. Right? That means a less educated San Diego. So we have real concerns in that space. 81% of you reported a decrease in funding from at least one major source of funding. So this is real. So how do we deal with the real knowledge? We have folks here today that are doing all kinds of creative ways to save money, eke every last penny out of your resources and assets, work differently, stronger, faster, smarter. So hopefully you can take some ideas away from that. And then I just want to say one thing about this one slide. It's not what I really want to end on, but many of you are reporting that your staff are burned out and that you're concerned about your own burnout. And the message I want to be really clear on, and that I think is helpful for you to carry forward with your own folks, and when people talk about burnout, everyone's burned out, right? Like people in the government sector, people in the private sector. But burnout in the nonprofit sector is not about a lack of effort, and I think it's really helpful to make this distinction. Burnout in the nonprofit sector is about knowing you can solve a problem and consistently not having the resources to do it. And that's showing up every day. So when you say burnout, try to make that real for people. It's not burnout that's the kind of burnout that's around the water cooler. It's the burnout from knowing we can do better, and for whatever reason, we can't just advance, and that just wears on you. Okay, so I wanted just to acknowledge that. We have a lot of wellness opportunities and lots of folks here that are focused on wellness and thinking about the nonprofit sector. I see Kinship Fund is here. There's all kinds of ways you can dig into this if this is something you're concerned about. But I'm gonna end on my happy note. Okay, right? 3/4 of people that we poll every quarter tell us they believe they can make a difference in San Diego by working with, donating to, or volunteering at a nonprofit. They know this is the venue by which change will happen, right? So I think you can take a lot of, I just love this slide, I don't know, it makes me feel very hopeful, and that we're in the right place, we're doing the right thing. And our role now is to make sure we can help people realize that belief, right? That they can plug into that belief, and they have somewhere to go, right? They can strategize, they can think differently, about how they make their impact. And that's really what leadership is all about, right? Is belief. And so with that, I'm excited to see what comes next today. I have no more data for you. I'm really happy to bring someone to the stage who's going to bring a lot of this to life. So please join me in welcoming Samuel Choi from my office, the Director of Leadership and Professional Development, who's going to take us into a keynote, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel, and I have the privilege of setting up our keynote presentation today and also introducing our speaker. But before we do that, we have a housekeeping item that I have to go through. So we moved this event to April, as Dr. Dietrich talked about. And I think we also have an issue here, a situation where our afternoon sessions are actually going to be rescheduled to outdoor activities because we're overbooked. So I need your participation through this live polling right now. So please pull out your devices. This is the only time a professor will ask you to pull out your devices. Use the QR code. If you can't do the QR code, you can do the browser and go to menti.com, enter the code. And I need your support and your help to help us figure out what to do this afternoon. So instead of going to our breakout sessions, we actually called up our shuttles. We marshaled the entire fleet of shuttles. So depending on where you want to go, they're going to bring us there. All right, so we got some folks who are excited about Safari Park, new Elephant Valley. I haven't seen it yet. That should be fun. Shout out to Museum of Us. I know they're in the house, right? They steward the California Tower at Balboa Park. Some people want to go there. Imperial Beach Pier, always a great landmark. Not too many people want to go to the racetracks, but that's a beautiful spot too. And of course, the casino. All right, so if you didn't notice already, I called a fleet of shuttles on April 1, and joke's on us, that's not happening. So we'll get back to business. This is the real question I want to ask you. We're going to stay here in this lovely building on this beautiful campus the rest of the day. Don't worry. And we'll begin with this question. As an immigrant kid, I always get asked, where are you from? And then I don't mind usually, telling people where I'm from. And then I get the kind of like, where are you really from? So instead of asking that to each other, I want to reframe the question. I think it's beautiful to ask this question. What land knows you best? And I want you to just, how you respond to that question by clicking a spot in the globe of a land that knows you best. So just take a look at the wide range of rootedness in this world, and all the beautiful cultures and histories and traditions that we represent even in this room, because this is gonna make sense once you hear our amazing speaker. So, our speaker today, I have the privilege of introducing, is Connie Archbold Robinson. When leading institutions through turbulence, it is easy to lose your focus, and the very best leaders act much like master photographers, knowing exactly when to swap lenses. They know when to zoom out for the wide-angle view of systems, policies, and capital, and when to pull focus tightly onto the details of culture and community. So to help us adjust our lenses today, we are honored to welcome Connie. Connie is a former foundation CEO, a seasoned board chair, and a strategist. Over the course of her career, Connie has overseen and guided more than $1 billion in philanthropic assets across private foundations, donor collaboratives, and civic institutions. Her expansive leadership portfolio includes serving as the CEO of the Panta Rhea Foundation and as a portfolio director at the James Irvine Foundation. Connie also knows how to keep a steady hand when the picture becomes dizzying. She chaired California's inaugural Citizens Redistricting Commission from 2010 to 2020, successfully stewarding one of the state's most complex and high-profile civic processes. Today, through her advisory practice, she accompanies boards and CEOs through seasons of volatility, scale, and reinvention. She is highly respected for combining strategic rigor and relational intelligence to help leaders thrive. While she brings a deeply global perspective with her active roots in the Western Caribbean and Colombia, we are lucky to call Connie a neighbor as she lives right up the coast in Oceanside. Connie holds a BA in Communications and Spanish from La Sierra University and a master's in City and Regional Planning from UC Berkeley. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Connie Archbold Robinson. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you, Sam. It's an honor to be here, and it's no small feat to be asked to inspire an audience with this type of backdrop that we have in the world right now. So thank you for the invitation. And I think Laura really began to set the scene for us and just remind us, as though we needed reminding, that we are living in a time of profound disruption and transition. And just here in San Diego, some of the forms that has taken in recent years have been everything from literal storms that ravaged the area and the executive orders that have touched our region, particularly in the immigration space. We've had, along with that, so many of our communities that are engaged in and affected by war in various contexts. And we also have been facing, at a bigger level, the fall of many of our most iconic leaders, even some of the ones that really held this space of representing entire movements and groups of people, the failure and dismantling of systems that we thought were designed to protect us. And for many of us, the leadership and organizational models that we've been exposed to always presumed that stability was going to be the baseline and disruption was periodic. And now, at least since COVID, we can say that we've been living in a time where disruption is the new normal. Our conditions have been changing faster than most of our institutions, and our governance are really designed to respond to. And our technology and our AI clearly are outpacing our ability from our minds and our hearts to even comprehend, much less to respond. And as leaders, what I experienced has been, it's very challenging to come to a place of clarity when we are constantly flooded with information, misinformation. We have a sense of constant urgency to respond. And so the question has shifted for many of us as leaders, and the question is no longer, how do we lead as we wait for things to stabilize, but it's how do we lead when things don't ever settle? When we are constantly in storms, how do we bring the horizon into focus? Like many of you, I've spent much of my career in institutions. You heard a bit about that. Thank you, Sam, for the gracious introduction. And in that capacity, had the day-to-day grind of overseeing strategy and governance, operations, grant-making, investments, programs, you name it. And in recent years, as I've expanded into my private practice, it's given me the opportunity to work with a broader set of donors and leaders and organizations to be able to take a step back and observe some of the trends that are really happening across our sectors, across the various geographies, from hyper-local to statewide to national and to global. And the pattern that has become very clear to me, and it doesn't matter how humble or powerful, how well-resourced or scrappy the entity or the individual with whom I am working is, they are generally leading without any clear reference point. They are leading, having to build new capacities and skills and leadership in real time. And they're doing so amidst the storms, under much less than ideal conditions. And like all of you, I just wanted to be able to bring some of that experience into the room. And so Sam's going to team up with me. That Mentimeter was just a warm-up to make sure you were on the app. And so we'd love for you to be able to share with us and your peers, what are some of the storms that you are navigating in your day-to-day leadership right now? So let's pull up that first question. 1 to 3 words, what feels most difficult to lead through right now?
So we should begin to see some responses pop up. Got a lot of funding, capacity, a lot of uncertainty around funding, policy shifts, systems. I don't know if Brian can help us scroll to the bottom to see if there's additional responses. There's some specific concerns about lack of funds for specific sectors, a lot of uncertainty, stability, or the lack thereof. Burnout, as Laura mentioned in our data, specific policies on immigration and activities of enforcement. What's standing out to you so far, Connie?
So much uncertainty, and when you pair this environment with this lack of a clear reference point, there's no roadmap, you're figuring out in real time, and the stakes are enormously high for the people that you lead and the people that you serve. And that's when leadership becomes real. And so as we continue, I just wanted to take a moment to share a story of when leadership became very real to me. So it began with an unexpected WhatsApp call from a group of fishermen in the island that had raised generations of my family. From this little speck in the Western Caribbean Sea, Providencia Island, which is territory of Colombia. The call that I received came within days of when we had passed more than 20 hours without contact, knowing that our family and friends back home in the island had been in the eye of what they called a Category 5 hurricane, but what we later found out was likely a Category 6, maybe a 7. We just don't have the capacity to measure that level of devastation. So I knew that in receiving this call, 98% of the island's infrastructure had been destroyed, not damaged, disappeared overnight. And that the call I was receiving was actually not just about disaster response and aid, but it was about a longer-term trajectory of a place that had been contested for decades and centuries. Next slide, please. This is a place that had been contested because of our beautiful seven-color seas, the third largest barrier reef in the world, some of the most abundant and untouched fisheries, our pristine and undeveloped land that has been fought to keep that way, the potential for underseas oil exploitation. We've also been contested because of our strategic geopolitical location. There have been any number of storms over the years and the decades, and so this hurricane was just the most recent. I knew this was not just about this moment, but about longer-term solidarity. And so it was this group of fishermen that called me on WhatsApp that day. And what I heard on the phone as I was multitasking was suddenly directed at me. Miss Connie, we done lose everything. We must strike. Will you stand with us? It was the captain of the fishing cooperatives. There was pause, static, 18 people on this WhatsApp call. And I waited, and I thought, surely somebody else will speak. The former governor of the archipelago was on the line, one of our most iconic musicians, some of our former ambassadors, all of whom were eminently more qualified to interject in that pause. And yet, it was directed at me. I wanted to hang up, and all kinds of questions flashed through my mind. Why me? Why now? What on earth could I do about an international strike against the Colombian government? I was a fairly new CEO leading a foundation for the first time. What would our donors say? What would our board think? What might our staff do? I could lose my job, my credibility that as a woman of color I had worked decades to build. I might lose my mind. And like everyone on this call, I too was Raisal. This word, you can go back to the last slide. This word, Raisal, that you see here, it comes from Spanish, and it literally means from the roots, raíz. And it's how we know ourselves as a people. It's a term that connects us back to our ancestry, to the enslaved Africans who were brought to this land, to the European settlers, to the nomadic Central and South American tribes who graced our islands. And we shared that identity in that call. And it was palpable, that connection, and yet I knew I was different. And the difference was that I had a choice. The community back home, they had had no choice. They had already risked and lost everything against their will. I, meanwhile, was safe and comfortable, living my little life abroad in the diaspora with a career, a family. And I was being asked, what was I willing to risk with them and for them? With that privilege came a heavy responsibility. And so I took a breath, I widened my focus, and I heard myself say yes, without knowing what I was saying yes to. Because I knew in my gut that the regrets that I might have were not the regrets that would come from imperfect action, of which there would be many over the weeks and months that followed. But the regrets that I would have would come from holding back at a time when the moment and my community was inviting me forward. And that moment taught me that leadership is rarely an individual act, because as I said yes, it created the space and the safety for others to say yes to. Within days, weeks, months, resources were flowing. The diaspora networks of Raisal people all around the world were engaged and activated. We were able to align communications capacity, legal support, advocacy from all around the world. And it wasn't because we had the answers. Far from it. It was because we had committed to act and to do so together. And that shifted my understanding and my practice around leadership. I had been so caught up in becoming the leader of a foundation, in that positionality, in the title. And this kind of work demanded that I move differently in the world. It was an invitation to be a leader that worked in relational ways and collective ways. And that meant it was adaptive and it was creative and it was highly uncomfortable, because it didn't mirror any of the models that had been celebrated and shown to me when I had been in well-heeled foundations and nonprofits. This was not linear, it was emergent, and it was very often messy. And there was no existing framework, there was no map. We were learning by doing every single day. And we still are. The hurricane happened in late 2020, and this is long-term solidarity, so the work continues. That experience truly transformed me. And the first question I want to share with you today to think on is, what is your yes in this moment? And if you don't know the answer as to what is your yes, what could your yes be? What should your yes be? My yes taught me that even in the storms, there are new horizons. And our work as leaders is to steady ourselves. It's to steady each other. As we widen our focus and share that leadership, even amidst the chronic disruption, a new space of collaboration and possibility becomes visible on the horizon. We create a place to imagine what could be, even as we do the hard work of continuing to respond to the stark realities of what is. And so you see, steadiness in these turbulent storms is not a luxury. As leaders, it is one of the most crucial tasks that we can focus on for ourselves and our communities. And so I ask you, how do you steady yourself amidst the storms? I'd love to hear your answers to this.
So we're going to begin seeing a word cloud form from these responses. Community is central. So is love and family, connection, a lot of different practices like gratitude, breathing, reflection, our core values, faith. Having a sense of focus and purpose. Again, community and family and nature and love, central.
So what's amazing about your answers to this question is that I had already had some hypotheses about what you would share, and I did that knowing that I had already done some polling with my clients all across the country, foundation leaders, nonprofit leaders, and so I just want to take this and show you the next word cloud, which represents that broader cross-section, and how many parallels there are, and how simple and human the practices of how we as leaders in the social sector are steadying ourselves in these turbulent times. Family, community, friends, cooking and eating. Snap, snap. Ancestors, music, hugs, sleep, daring to dream, purpose, space and time, sunsets, smiles, and laughs. I don't see anything here about frameworks or tools, even though you will get plenty of those over the next couple of days. But I just want to start this journey that we're on together by reminding ourselves what it is to go back to our roots, to steady ourselves and widen our focus so that even amidst the uncertainty of these storms, we create spaces, windows of stability where we can begin to glimpse the horizon together. So the last question I would like to pose to you is, as we create those spaces of stability, what are the opportunities on the horizon? What unexpected opportunity might be emerging in your work right now?
Personal growth, partnerships, and collaboration, to reinvent, to have time to explore next steps, to build trust and to have a strong team. Opportunities for technology to assist us, for accountability with one another. Again, personal growth, collaboration, using specific tools like AI to mitigate busy work. Yes, we're definitely going to have some sessions going to be covering many of these tools and frameworks today, and opportunities with each other. Just look around the room. Just think about the ways that you're going to connect with folks during the sessions, during lunch, during our reception, of building that connective tissue that's part of our system.
So none of us can deny that disruption does destabilize. We're experiencing that right now. But it also reveals pathways that may not have been visible to us before, and new opportunities. And truly, I learned from these fishermen and fisherwomen that strategy amidst a storm is not about a rigid, fixed path. It's around navigation and adaptation. And so as we begin to close, I want to just share a short clip from my homeland. And it's less about the words, it's more about the energy, the flow, and the rhythm. And I just want you to notice what it takes amidst the storm to stabilize and keep your eye on the horizon together.
Rise up, people. It's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you try to bother him,
When you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so trilly, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Tell on Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. We no have time to cry, everything will be fine. Stand strong, it's time to move on. Where I could reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something we want to know if we understand. Rise and people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are sinking song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
Rise and shall rise.
Where there is light, there will be hope.
Rise and shall rise.
Holding on no joy, that is for sure.
Rise and shall rise.
Standing up strong, I reach for your goal. Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be hurt. All the pain and suffering rise up, it will surely work.
The day we come together and stand up with determination, then rise our nation will shout out for liberation. To take back the territory. Cause this land that we fight to free our dignity. Free the chains and bandage of colony.
Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Let us twinkle and decolonize. Therefore, it had to run.
Waiting for its diaspora through the island in the sun. Rise and shine out the rifle, all ye daughters and sons, yeah.
And again, it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up strong, rise up, where the sun of the sky.
Leave the high nights of the row and fear. Just remember Jah come when the morning clear. Pray Jah and put your hand up in the air. In Jah hand now everything gone clear.
Wake up and live, rise and we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way they could break our will. It's time to be great again. Arise and shine. Wake up and live. Booyaka, sayaka, mayaka. To free oneself from this corruption. So there will be no more pollution from colonizers.
So I share that with you not just because it's such a dear piece of who I am and it's a catchy tune we can't deny, because the act of creating this required a collaboration of artists and activists and allies from around the world coming together amidst a messy chaos with the backdrop of the destruction of a Category 5+ hurricane, and still coming together for hope on the horizon. And there's so much in that tone of leadership that I believe is being asked of us right here in San Diego in this moment. Because we too are a region that is so shaped by global connections, by global conflicts. We too have so much movement across borders. We have communities that are diverse and dispersed and yet deeply intertwined. And I believe that the future of our region is not going to be shaped by the smartest strategy or funding, policy, or even governance innovations. I believe that the future of our region is going to be shaped by the quality of the leadership that we bring to these turbulent times. It will be shaped by how we steady ourselves, those around us, and in our communities to be able to see glimpses of the horizon, even as we do the day-to-day work to address the conditions of the storm. Thank you so much for letting me join you today.
Thank you so much, Connie. Thank you for your invitation for us as leaders to move differently, to look into the horizon. We actually have a group of leaders that are here in this room who are ready to share about their journey over this last year of really navigating through the various storms here in San Diego and our country. And we have voices that represent philanthropy, policy, and also nonprofit leadership here who are ready to share. And then after they share their reflections, we have time for the rest of the group to also be able to join the discussion. So to begin, I'm going to ask Megan Thomas, who is the CEO of Catalyst San Diego, to share her perspective and her experience with us, followed by Vino from Catholic Charities.
Hello, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Connie, for that beautiful story weaving that demonstrated to us how leadership is about everybody, right? It's not a position, but really a mindset. My name is Megan Thomas. I'm the president and CEO of Catalyst of San Diego and Imperial Counties, which is a network of philanthropic leaders across our region. I was really struck by, in response to one of the questions that was asked, community, connection, and purpose were three of the strongest or most common responses to how each of us deals with the times that we're in and uncertainty in general. And I think that for us at Catalyst, one of the things we've done is say, how do we look beyond just the one by one responses? I was thinking about sand dollar strategy, right? We all know the story of the person walking along the beach and they pick up I think it was a starfish in the story, and they toss it back in the ocean, and the person with them says, what are you doing? You can't possibly do all of this by yourself. And they say, okay, well, I helped that one creature. But in a time when we're living in a time when everything has been turned upside down. When for us, we know that philanthropy cannot go one by one and replace every dollar and lift up every organization. And we know that as nonprofits, we can't go one by one and help every person that comes to our doors. We then turn and say, what new opportunities have presented themselves? And this is really a big part of how we are navigating through uncertainty, is saying what new opportunities for the entire ecosystem can be strengthened. So I want to share with you sort of a suite of 3 different specific projects that have arisen as a result of the opportunities that this moment has presented, that we think collaboratively, collectively about equity and impact. Catalyst's mission is, or our vision is a collaborative, impactful, equitable, social change ecosystem. That means all of us. But what do we really need? First off, the Catalyst Data Hub was launched just about a month ago, and there's actually a session that you can participate in tomorrow afternoon. This gives every single person in this room 3 years of premium access that we are supporting to data about how money moves. You can look and find out how you're funded, how your colleagues are funded, what the foundations are doing, what national funding is looking like. Not because that specific information is going to solve a problem, but once we know what is happening across the region, we can find ways to intersect and work together more effectively. Secondly, we all know, for the decades that I've been in this work, we've talked about the fact that the work is always there, the money comes and goes. So we're able to put some of our dollars to work in a way that I have never experienced before, but we were able to go with our board and say, we're gonna put $250,000 of our savings into the ecosystem. And then our philanthropic partners matched that money and more to create a bridge fund called the Sustained Support Fund. So if you know there's work to do now, but the contract doesn't start or the grant doesn't come for another 1, 2, 3 months, we've got you. We'll put that money in your bank so you can get to work. And then lastly, I'm excited to share, I think this is the debut, you might have heard inklings of it, but working with the Nonprofit Institute and seeded by the Alliance Healthcare Foundation and the Prebys Foundation, we're launching the Nonprofit Sustainability Initiative. This is a place where you all can come with your collaborative ideas. I have seen more collaboration in the last year. And granted, it may be out of necessity, but necessity breeds invention, right? And so this will be an opportunity to bring your ideas, get the support, financial and skills-wise, that you need to do sustained collaboration, whether that means shared staff or shared space or shared campaigns. We know that that takes work. It just doesn't happen magically. And so this will be a place to come, bring those ideas, get help to develop them more fully, and then implement them with the financial support that we know that really translates to. So when I think about how are we thinking of leadership in this moment, it's really about not just leaning on hope, because we know hope is not a strategy, but saying, what can we build for the future? We know we have to do the work right now, but let's take this moment to build something greater, stronger, and more equitable.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much for your visionary leadership, for always holding that space for our ecosystem, for collaboration, and thank you for announcing those exciting initiatives. Next, we're going to hear from Vino Pajranor, who is the CEO of Catholic Charities.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. Had your coffee? Catholic Charities has been in San Diego for 106 plus years now, serving both San Diego and Imperial counties. I came to the United States 25 years ago to this very university on a scholarship. And part of the American dream, right? But a few years ago, I came into Catholic Charities, and thank you for sharing about the storms. I grew up in storms in India, political, real monsoon, and other storms. And one thing I learned working at Catholic Charities was you build better team when storms are in your way. What storm happened in this last year was one of the many storms we saw. But one of the major storms that happened was in March 2024, when one of the close associates of our president right now gate crashed into one of our locations, published personal information of our team members online, including their home addresses and cell phones, including mine. We received death threats. We received everything, and I was perturbed as a leader. And I didn't know what to do. But I knew one thing. I can buy donuts the next day and go to meet my team. You saw that, right? Food. That's what I did. I ran in and I gave some donuts to all of our team members and went around. Many of them were fearful. Some of them were crying. And we said to each other, hey, let's make our decisions for what is good for you and your family. A couple of days of fear, but my team came back. They went more stronger. We helped 146 countries from where individuals came to our migrant shelter. That taught us that storms will come and go, but if you have a strong team, you can withstand any storm. Then the next storm came by, 2025. You heard Laura talk about it just in the beginning. So far, that storm has continued. We have gone through 3 warn notices. My CFO is sitting right next to me, so he's here to get more strength, and my board member is also here. We have laid off more than 100, and we project to lay off another 70 plus this year. It's sad to see the team go. These people who have not, Catholic Charities doesn't pay a lot. Just like many other nonprofits, it comes from the heart. Many of the team members join us because they're called to serve the community. It's sad to see them go. But one of the things I realized again was in that storm, you see gems coming up. We had a farewell party for the team members who have been here with us for many years. And Mike, who has been with VCs and startups and in for-profit world, said he has never seen such a party. There was no fear among those who are leaving. And some of them even said, we will see you again. We'll be back because this will also pass. This storm will also go. But in that time also, we have to work with our heart and our mind. The heart is what drives us. But then there has to be a mind. So we went into a strategic plan, thanks to the Nonprofit Institute that helped us to go through a strategic plan along with our board. And through that, we have anchored ourselves. Yes, we are losing team members. Yes, we have lost our funds. So what? It's only money. Money come, money go. But if you have the right mindset, you can always build it up. In that scenario, what we started looking at is that, okay, what are we going to do now? What's the focus? What can we positively impact the community? What have we done? We have, in the last year, increased our capacity on homeless shelter for the unhoused. Stay in our lane, stay focused. For 40 plus years, Catholic Charities has helped many of the unhoused women in downtown San Diego through Rachel's programs. What we have done is we have done it well, so let's stick to that lane. And from that 35 beds, we are now going to a 210 bed capacity in downtown San Diego. In food, there's a high need of people in San Diego because the cost of living has always been high, whether the current storm or before. So let's look at what we're going to do with food. We can't go rent space. The Catholic Church has a lot of space. Let's leverage those spaces, leverage the volunteers, and we have grown from 3 pantries to now 22 pantries in San Diego County. I'm sharing this because, yes, it is doom and gloom everywhere. But if, as a nonprofit person, I, as a leader, start only seeing doom and gloom, Yes, it is tiring. When my children ask me, hey, why are we getting death threats? Why are you working in this environment? We say this can happen anywhere. But if you have a good team, the core of the faith that is there, of any faith, that we can work together and build capacity based on who we are as individuals, as human beings, anything is possible under the sun. And that's what I want to share with you all is, yes, the storm will come. But you saw the last song that was there? It moved me. And that song was about roots. When we go back to our roots and find out why I, as a leader, me and my team came to work at Catholic Charities, the answer is always there. Storms will come, storms will go. But if we are focused on what we are trying to do, we will overcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Vino. Next, we're going to hear from Paula Martinez Montes. Thank you, Vino, for embodying love, leadership, strength, and appreciate just you carrying through and staying strong for your team. We're going to hear from Paula. Paula is the Director of Community Engagement from the Office of County Supervisor Paloma Aguirre.
Yes. Muy buenos días a todos. Good morning, everybody. I am incredibly honored and reminded in this space of how beautiful we all are and really the strength that we have to continue the fight. I'll start off by introducing myself. So yes, I'm here with Supervisor Paloma Aguirre. I'm honored and privileged to serve as her Director of Community Engagement, and I am a longtime community organizer. And as a community organizer, many of the themes that I heard here, or have heard here this morning, are not new, right? Like these are all things that we have known. I think what is different now is that all of the challenges that we faced, the under-resourced community work that we've all been doing for many years, the systems that are up against us, right? Like intentionally working to keep our communities struggling in the way that they have, especially for, our BIPOC communities. It's nothing new. So in a lot of ways, I think you're right. This is an opportunity to continue, and Megan, there's an opportunity to continue to build something and stay really focused, because the storms have been here for many of our communities, especially, in the South Bay, District 1, we've been faced with the sewage crisis, right, which is not new. Over 100 years, the sewage crisis has been there, and we are now just starting to see the impacts of the air and water and what that is doing to the little bodies and to the many bodies that have been living through this sewage crisis. We have been faced with housing challenges where we can't find housing because everything is unaffordable. There's not enough to move people into. And the issues with immigration, right? Like I myself, my father was deported in 2013, and I've had to live through the challenges of what separation does to families and the impacts of that, whether it's financial or whether that's emotional, the trauma that comes from it. And so I thank you all for the work that you're doing to keep our communities together, for the lifelines that you create, because that's really what's important about the nonprofit space, is being able to keep people in our communities connected to one another. And so I want us to always keep that in mind. And I know that, I don't have to remind you of that, but with the storms and with the challenges, the doom and gloom is real, and many of us at times just want to throw in the towel. I'm reminded, though, of my daughter's words. She's 11 years old, and she reminds me, we were just having lunch with my parents in El Muro, so right by Playa de Tijuana, and she's a very creative mind, and she said to me that she would love to paint something on the wall. And she said that what she wanted to paint was, why us? ¿Por qué nosotros? And it's interesting, right? I don't know why it's us here this morning. I don't know why it's us here living the reality that we're living. But the truth is that we're here and that we get to stand up and live another day to continue to make our communities better. And I know that with Supervisor Paloma Aguirre, she has that right front and center. So we're fighting at the County Board of Supervisors to make sure that we're continuing to bring education around HR 1 cuts and the challenges. Today, April 1st, folks are already starting to not have access to self-sufficiency services, which again is nothing new, right? Folks have always been challenged with not knowing whether they filed the right paper to continue their social services. So we're continuing to work to move money out of reserves, to put them into social services, or to really not even to expand, but just to try to keep people enrolled in basic services that are needed. And Marianne de la Torre, who is our senior community rep, is here with me, and she is helping. We've got community enhancement programs, and we've got a neighborhood reinvestment grant. So we've got an opportunity to grant over $3 million every year. Not just our office, but every Board of Supervisors office has the ability to grant nonprofits. And so this year we made it a point to focus on the organizations who provide direct services, who are base building organizations, so that they can continue the work in the face of all of the challenges that we've seen. So we're trying our best and working to listen and understand what it is that we need on the ground to keep the work going. And, you know, in terms of our work around immigration, the county has taken a step with our clear ordinance, to keep ICE off of our property, so that as we know that it's hard to build trust and it's hard for folks to come to our buildings to access those services that are incredibly vital to keep their families healthy, fed, and housed, that they know that immigration is not allowed to be on county premises, and that we are not going to stand for it, and that they need to go and do their work somewhere else. Hopefully way out, right? But that's just a little bit of the work that we are doing at the county. We cannot do it alone. I come from the community space. I was the director of a nonprofit for 8 years. Again, understand deep how challenging it is to raise the money, to keep our staff empowered enough to go out and then empower our communities to continue to do the work and voice their needs, and continue to be really the folks that are changing systems and organizing for what is needed out there. So I empathize with you. Please don't feel ever like you can't come to our office. We're here to listen. We're here to help build collaboration. And I thank you for your time and everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Paula and Marianne, for being with us today and representing us at the county. Finally, we're going to hear from Lisette Isla, who's the CEO of Lifeline Community Services.
Good morning, everyone. Connie, thank you for your words to all of us. I thought a lot about what reflections to share with you, and I was struck by one of the opening remarks that Connie made. She said, when we are constantly in storms, how do we bring the horizon into focus? And I was struck by that because I often tell the team at Lifeline that there is an opportunity in every moment. We just need to figure out what it is. Now, if we take a step back, I'll give you some context. Lifeline used to be known as North County Lifeline. Now we are known as Lifeline Community Services. We serve 25,000 people every year, and we work at the intersection of behavioral health and economic development. So what that means is that we provide therapeutic services in lots of different forms, mostly to young people and their families. So about 25,000 people, but the person that walks through the door primarily is a young person, and then we bring their families along. And we focus heavily on economic empowerment because we understand that many of the social ills that our communities struggle with are born from economic instability. And so we focus real hard on making sure that we help people level up financially. And so I keep telling the team there's an opportunity in every moment. Let's just hone in on what it is. So I'll give you a couple of examples of what that has meant for us in the last year. we have taken this moment of instability and constant change to help people understand what the work of Lifeline is, to really help them cement what we do day to day in the community. And in many ways, that has helped us walk with people as they make connections that they might not naturally make. So as we have been talking about immigration and the challenges therein, most of us immediately jump to legal issues, right? And then we think about what's happening to families and the need for food and housing, et cetera. And those are all absolutely on point. What we have been helping people understand is that that moment in the struggles with immigration also create a real need for therapy, right? And it's not just once families are torn apart, it is actually before that happens. The fear that this might happen causes need for therapy amongst our children. And it shows up in lots of different ways, right? In the classroom, as behavior, as dropping grades, et cetera. And so Laura early on in her slides showed that 81% of people reported increased fear, anxiety, confusion. When I see that, I see a need for therapy. I see a need for Lifeline. And so in this moment, we have really helped people define the place that we hold in the ecosystem, the real need for our services across the community. The other thing that we've done is, like many of you, we've sought out new income streams. And so what that has meant is that we've really redefined what we do and begun to think about how do we provide these services to a larger group of people, not just dependent on government contracts and private funding. And so we have began to reshape our business strategies, taking what we do and do really well and figuring out how we make it available to people in new and different ways. And then lastly, we've done something that's somewhat counterintuitive. We have invested heavily in our staff and in our organization. We have built up systems, and in many ways, built up systems that were underinvested for years. And so I keep saying nonprofits are businesses. We just happen to have a different tax designation. But we're businesses. We need to run and operate as efficient businesses. And as businesses, we need to have strong systems. And so while many of our counterparts across the county understandably are saying, okay, we're gonna take 2 steps back and pause, I did the counterintuitive thing and said, let's lean in. And let's invest heavily in training our staff, and let's invest heavily in getting our technology and our systems up to date. My belief in that is the systems keep going, right? We keep shifting, but the business keeps operating. And so if I invest in our staff, and it's done very much in partnership with the Nonprofit Institute, very much in partnership with them. In fact, our team is finishing up a 9-month leadership academy at the Institute. If we invest in our staff, they will be better people leaders. Better people leaders retain their staff, right? The frontline staff. And if we can retain our staff, we provide better services. Plus, you don't have all of those expenses of training and retraining staff, but really it's about making these very strategic investments. So what I would say to you in this moment is think about how you can invest in the organizations that you operate, even when it feels like there's never enough. And then lastly, what I would add is that, as Megan said, no organization runs on just one person, right? I happen to be the CEO, but Lifeline operates and succeeds because of the 140 staff members that are there and the nearly 200 volunteers that we have at any given moment. That is the reason why we succeed. And so what I have done very strategically is become more and more transparent about the work. In a moment where staff is very concerned about our ability to keep them employed, I've started opening up our books to them. I've started sharing the KPIs for each one of the programs so they understand where we're hitting the mark and where we might be able to do a little better. And when they understand that, they're better able to help strategize, right? And help perform against those standards that we're given through our contracts. I also very much have become more and more transparent with our board and not just talked about what we've done, but here's what we did. Here's the analysis on what worked and didn't work. Here's my analysis on what I'm seeing on the horizon moving forward. And so that the board is constantly understanding the good and the bad of the organization, and if I need to pivot quickly on any given thing, they're primed for it, because I have developed their understanding and their line of thinking over many, many months. And so through all of these investments and strategic shifts, our organization has coalesced in a beautiful way over the course of the last 2 years. And our board has championed our organization as we've made these shifts and is more and more enthusiastic of finding new ways to do our work. And I know all of us are doing similar things, so thank you for allowing me to share about Lifeline.
Thank you so much, Lisette. Let's give another round of applause for Connie, for all the leaders in the room. And for now, I just want to invite you to take a collective breath and just let those ideas, those encouragements sink in, and we're going to transition into our award ceremony. Let's take a collective deep breath. Let's do 3. Think about your leadership posture. Think about the horizon. And let's continue to serve our communities. Thank you so much. With that, I'm going to turn things over to LaToya. LaToya is the founder of Movement Matters Collective, and she's going to help ground us.
Can y'all hear me? Really? Can y'all hear me? Okay, good morning. Thank you, Sam, for that introduction. I am LaToya McKelvin Westpoint, founder of Movement Matters Collective. And it is such an honor and a privilege to stand on this stage in front of you guys, knowing that I am in a room full of heart-driven leaders. You guys literally take care of San Diego. So, a little higher. Can y'all hear me? I asked y'all if y'all could hear me the first time. So, as mission-driven leaders, I know that you guys walked in here today and you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, right? We've talked about this storm that we're in. So my invitation, my plea, is for you to take this moment that we have together and use it to show yourself that you care for you. Can we agree to that? I didn't believe that. Can we agree to that? Yes. Okay, I believe that one. Before we get started, I need for you to turn to someone to your side, look them in the eye, and say, "Hey, neighbor." Okay, y'all get it, because I believe that one, right? Okay. Guess what? You're sitting next to someone else, too, so I need you to turn to the next person, whether they're in front or behind you. We're getting it, we're getting it. Thank you. This is important. This is probably the most important thing y'all gonna do, because we are gonna move our bodies for like 1 second, for 1 minute. And, you know, we might get a little friendly. So you want that neighbor next to you, you know that it's a human being and that to take none of this personal. So before we get started, I want you to uncross your legs, place your feet on the floor. Wiggle your toes if you can. Wiggle your fingers. Let that jaw go slack. Maybe give a little shimmy. There we go. Now, as some stillness starts to come into your body, I just want you to place one hand in front of your belly button, one hand on your heart space. We're gonna inhale into our lower hand. Inhale into that top hand. And then slowly, like you're blowing through a straw, release it. Ooh, got the chills. That was nice. Let's do it one more time. Inhale into that bottom hand. Inhale into that top hand. Let your heart light lift up. Share it with the world, and then slowly exhale. Blow through that straw. Let the hands just gently come down by your side, maybe rest on your hands. This is where we incorporate a little bit more movement. So we're gonna go ahead, inhale, draw those shoulders up towards your ears, like those shoulders have to whisper something. And then exhale, slowly release and let it relax down. And inhale, let's go ahead. Draw those shoulders up, they can get a little higher. And we're gonna exhale, draw it down. Final one, and inhale, and exhale. Okay, can everyone show me some fingers in the sky? Let's see them, wiggle them. Okay, we're gonna make some magic, real magic. We're gonna put those hands together, let's rub them. And I mean really rub them together. You feel that warmth happening. I like to call these warm and fuzzies. Okay, we're gonna use these warm and fuzzies. We're gonna say hello to our bodies. When's the last time we said hello to our bodies? So let's give some love tap to our legs. Just love taps to your legs, up and down those legs. Hello legs, how you doing? You guys are fabulous. You walked me here in this room today. Ow! Yes, there it is. Okay, I think those legs are feeling loved. All right, it's time to make some more warm and fuzzy. So here we go. We're gonna put those hands together. We're gonna rub, 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 rub. Oh, I don't believe it. Really rub them. Come on. I can feel the heat up here when you do it. All right, now we're going to take those hands and we're going to tap those shoulders, those arms, up and down your arms. Hello, arms. You're so strong. Thank you for all the strength you provide. We picked up that fork and had our breakfast this morning. Thank you. All right, so I think those arms are feeling nice and loved. It's warm and fuzzy time. Put it together. Y'all know. All right, I want to feel the heat. Come on this side, I need to feel it. All right, we're gonna place those hands on our head and we're gonna tap that head. Thank you, head. Hello, how you doing? This brain that's gonna have so many amazing ideas and learn so much. We got it going on. Please be gentle here. There is precious cargo up in that head, okay? All right, our final warm and fuzzy. Let's put those hands together. Yes. This is a special one. We're not gonna tap, we're gonna interlace those fingers. We're gonna open our palm space. This is where we get a little cozy with our neighbors. Bring those palms to your heart light. Lift your heart light into your palms. Feel it radiate. Now we're gonna share that heart light. Exhale, flip the palms, reach. Maybe you look down and you say hello to your belly button. And we're gonna inhale, bring those warm and fuzzies back to your heart light. Then exhale, let's lengthen through those arms, push those palms forward. Maybe we feel some space in between our shoulder blades. And inhale, final one, lift that heart light, share it. Then exhale, release it to the world. All right, our final thing that we're gonna do, y'all still with me? Yeah. Okay, all right. So, and normally we got some fun music playing, y'all. So we're really bringing it in today. We're gonna go ahead, inhale, reach those hands up. Even if those shoulders come up to your ears, that's okay. And we're gonna pretend like we're on the East Coast where it's snowing, and we're gonna circle those wrists and make some snowflakes fall down. I'm from New York. I miss the snow sometimes. So y'all bringing me home. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, reach those arms forward and up. Let the shoulders come to the ears. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to circle those wrists out. One final one. I mean, get as long, tall, and strong as you can and circle it out. Now, for our final thing, just shake out those shoulders. Shake. Give me a little shimmy. This is where the music comes in because you can go, oh, get that big shimmy. There we go, y'all. Thank you so much. Please continue.
Thank you, LaToya.
Woo. Continue to take care of yourselves, please.
So next we're gonna have our award ceremony. I'm gonna introduce our esteemed chair of our advisory board of the Nonprofit Institute, Stephen Chin. Stephen Chin, please join me here on stage.
Well, good morning, everybody. And LaToya, I'm from New York too, but I don't miss the snow. Anyway, it's truly an honor to welcome you to this year's Governance Symposium. I wanted to just say thank you all for being here. It means so much to us, not only to our sponsors and supporters, but most especially to you. The work that you do every day really makes a difference for our community. And I've been told that we have to move quickly, so I'm going to make sure that we go through these awards. It's not quite like the Oscars, but we're going to have some fun with it. So I just wanted to just take a moment, though, to at least...
That was not me.
I promise everything's on here. But really, wanted to acknowledge some of the information that you've all heard. You know, 80% of San Diegans receive some sort of service and support through nonprofits. You good? We're good?
This is your dream come true. Just wing it.
Okay. Okay. And you know, to think about it, San Diego is the 4th largest economy in California, 17th in the nation. And the nonprofit sector here represents 1 out of every 10 jobs. So it's really critical that the nonprofit community can continue to support all of those here in San Diego to build a healthier and much more thriving community. So it's really just a thrill to see all of us together. I see so many familiar friends, and is this going again? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to say that I hope that this gathering brings you hope, inspiration, and really an opportunity to speak about more than delivering services. It's about how we can all come together to make meaningful change. So just thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you'll acknowledge not only yourself in that, but also everyone else who's joined us. So thank you very much. And this brings us to the first of several awards. The university traditionally has acknowledged some of those organizations and leaders who are demonstrating exceptional governance practices. And every year, we have an award called the Kaleidoscope Award, which is intended specifically for the nonprofit organizations that are demonstrating just that. If you think about it, a kaleidoscope really gives us very different opportunities for perception. And when you think about leadership in a nonprofit space, we are talking about how you apply some of the different approaches that have to come to bear, whether that's strategic, fiduciary, et cetera. And those kinds of things can only be demonstrated by a leader and an organization that understands when to pull the hat on that, when to make sure that you apply those things, to make sure that you're delivering on the mission. So this year, we received more applications than we've ever received. In fact, I've been a part of the committee that's reviewed the Kaleidoscope applications for the last few years. We received more than double the number of applications this year. So it was quite a bit of a work for the committee. And I just want to very quickly acknowledge those who are on the committee. In addition to Laura's leadership and overall guidance, the committee members were Mary Schulman, who is of the Schulman Family Foundation, Max Espinosa from the Gates Foundation, and also Professor Bob Donmeyer here at USD. We met not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times after actually coming down to an interview process. And Zachary, you understand what that's like, right? In any case, this year's Kaleidoscope winner truly reflects what mission-driven governance can achieve. So let's first congratulate Outdoor Outreach on the Kaleidoscope Award. Before we bring up Outdoor Outreach to the stage, I just wanted to share some real brief observations. So Outdoor Outreach makes a powerful impact by connecting youth to the outdoors, creating opportunities for growth, confidence, and resilience. The leadership stays focused on mission, supporting the organization's growth, and remaining deeply connected to the community. The work is a powerful reminder of what's possible when leadership, purpose, and community come together. I might also add that it might help when you drop the word stoked in your application. So with that said, I'd like to invite Board Chair Sergio Langarica and Executive Director Ben McClure of Outdoor Outreach, along with the rest of their team, to come on up and receive your award. Okay.
So just don't.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if you all want to meet our rock stars, there is a panel this afternoon at 3 p.m. And of course, the reception at, I think, 4:15 is also about celebrating, and we'll be there at both. So again, thanks so much to the Kaleidoscope winners for this year, Outdoor Outreach. All right, and to continue our awards, I'm going to go ahead and bring Sam back up to the stage. Thank you.
The Libby Award for Excellence in Nonprofit Leadership was established to honor our founder, Pat Libby's incredible legacy of promoting the Jewish values of tzedakah, meaning justice and charity, and tikkun olam, meaning repairing the world. We present this award to an exceptional executive who embodies these profound values in the social impact arena. Today, it is my absolute privilege to present the 2026 Libby Award to Christopher Burrows. More about Chris. Chris is the very embodiment of resilience and community-driven innovation. In 2021, he transformed his own life circumstances into a powerful force for good by founding Garden 31. What began as a vision of organic farming that he received while incarcerated has blossomed into an organization that tackles some of San Diego's most critical issues. Through Garden 31's Grower program, Chris provides occupational training in regenerative agriculture to formerly incarcerated, justice-impacted, and at-risk individuals. His remarkable work has created the first California state-certified apprenticeship program in agriculture, forestry, and natural resource management. He built school gardens in Alta Vista High School and earned Garden 31 the County of San Diego's Equity Impact Grant. Guided by his core philosophy of plants, power, and people, Chris is literally and figuratively healing the earth while healing lives. Beyond his impressive accomplishments, which also includes serving as a horticulture professor at Miracosta College, Chris is a deeply grounded, humble human being. He has a unique gift for making everyone he interacts with feel seen, valued, and capable. He is exactly the kind of leader our world needs right now. So please join me again in congratulating Chris Burrows. Chris and his team, please join us in for a photo. send you off to the sessions, and we'll see you at lunch. Thank you so much for being here this morning. We're about 5 to 10 minutes behind, so we're going to adjust our schedule accordingly on the Hoover app. Please say hi to each other, and we'll see you at lunchtime at the wings here. And thank you so much.
Rise up, people. It's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you try to bother hill,
When you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so thrilly, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Call on Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. We no have time to cry, everything will be fine. We stand strong, it's time to move on. We have to reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something me want to know fi understand. Rise and people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are singing song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
When there is light, there will be hope. Oh, no, Jah, that is for sure. Standing up strong, I reach for your goal. Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be born. All the pain and suffering rise on, it will surely work.
The day we come together and stand up with determination,
And rise of the nation
we'll shout out for liberation. To take back the territory. Cause this land that we fight to free our being. Free the chains and bandage of colony.
Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Let it twinkle and decolonize. Therefore, it had to run.
Waiting for its diaspora through the island in the sun. Rise and shine out the rifle, oh ye goddess and sun, yeah.
And again, it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up strong like sun, are the sun of the sky.
Leave behind nights of the road fears. Just remember Jah come when the morning clear. Pray Jah and put your hand up in the air. In Jah hand now everything gone clear.
wake up and live, rise and we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way they could break our will. It's time to be great again. Arise and shine.
Yeah, so I have 5, 6,
Wake
7,
up and
8.
live.
So for the next session, it's gonna be
Booyaka, sayaka, mayaka.
so yeah, these can be
To free oneself from this corruption. So there will be no more pollution from colonizers.
your back to the other one. Yeah, I think right now they're still in the transition mode. So then is this your first one?
Yeah,
Or
I
this-
just want to make sure that none of those notes are on there. I don't need those notes.
It won't display on the screen. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Do you still need a space for your call?
gonna ask, yeah.
Okay, let me show you back here.
Have you seen Ricardo? I have not seen Ricardo.
Hi, Jacob.
Sorry about that.
It's no, I mean, like, she got your deck all
Yeah.
polished, so you're good.
Okay.
Is everybody good here?
I think so. I just want to make sure that they're through.
Yeah, this will be quicker, normal. You're gonna see if you just happen here on that confidence monitor, so you don't have to feel like you're spinning around.
Yeah, I've seen it through my nose for being
Yeah, the folks upstairs are the ones who are switching the screens down.
I'll actually rope off the back, because, you know, it'll get, we wanted to record this. It'd be nice if people came toward the front. Yeah, okay. Did they, she's from San Diego. Okay, so yeah, I was in the hall too. Yeah, where did people go? Yeah. We'll probably start at like 10 past. Are they? Never should. If it does, it's kind of quick. Yeah. We've heard it.
Yeah, they're on like stands.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Hello? 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 Check, 1, 2. Yeah.